Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 125 of Page Valley Living. We're here today at Ralph Dean Park to talk to Megan Gordan and about the organization she serves as program coordinator for, PACA. It stands for the Page Alliance for Community Action, and I'll tell you folks, this is one of the most active nonprofits in Page County. They do a lot with youth and trying to promote healthy lifestyles and healthy families here in the Page Valley. They do a lot of work in our schools with our youth. We're going to talk about that and some of the programs they offer, as well as some of their upcoming events, including the Cardboard Boat Regatta coming up at the Hawksbill Pool later this month. And they're also going to have the Sunflower Festival right here out at Ralph Dean Park right around Labor Day. And we're going to talk more about the dates and all of these upcoming events and all of the great work that PACA does in the Page Valley. We'll be talking about that with Megan Gordan here at Ralph Dean Park when we return after a word from our sponsor. Hawksbill Assisted Living in Luray is now accepting new admissions. Hawksbill Assisted Living, powered by Valley Care Management, offers quality care at affordable rates, professionally trained staff, and veterans aid and attendance. Come visit Hawksbill Assisted Living, located near the beautiful Hawksbill Greenway in Luray. Call for a tour today or learn more at valleycaremanagement.com. Welcome back, everyone. As we said here, episode 125, Megan Gordan. Megan, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
We appreciate that, and it's always a good time to talk about PACA. And I hear people talking about PACA, and for a while in the early days, I was like, PACA, what is this PACA? Are we shearing animals? Are we doing? No, it's not an alpaca. It is the Page Alliance for Community Action. When did this organization get going here?
So PACA really started, or Page Alliance for Community Action, in 2006. There was a need kind of seen in our school division, between our school division, local law enforcement, and our local community services board, Northwestern. They realized that there's some substance misuse issues among our youth, and these agencies came together, and really that's when they created Page Alliance for Community Action.
And what was that time frame again?
About 2006.
About 2006. I was thinking it was even earlier than that, but 20 years. You're on your 20th
20 years.
Anniversary here.
Yeah.
And as it says on your website, you can go to pageallianceforcommunityaction.org, not .com, .org, and check out all the things they have going on. As we said, their main focus is trying to promote a drug-free community and fight childhood obesity, which puts them working a lot with youth, in the schools a lot. On your website, it says that you all reach over 2,000 youth each year. Tell me a little bit about how you do that.
So we do that in a lot of different ways. I don't know if you've been to a community event in Page County. We're probably there in some way, shape, or form, and we reach youth that way. But we also have evidence-based curriculum that's in the school system that is administered by our PE teachers in the schools. That is Too Good for Drugs. So all 6th through 9th grade students receive that curriculum. So that's a lot of students right there.
Sure.
We do a fentanyl awareness lesson in the schools. We just recently started in partnership with Northwestern Community Services Board. We started last year with all of our 9th grade students, evidence-based teen mental health first aid curriculum. We do a lot of different events. We have a YPACA club, so some of our older high school youth, it's a YPACA club where they can work to help reach their peers. And we have after-school programs at Page County Middle School, Stanley Elementary School, Luray Elementary School. So you name it, we're kind of probably out there working with a lot of different youth. We work close with the rec, the students that go to the rec. And we just actually yesterday hosted a field trip at the Luray Community Garden for the rec students. We host field trips at the community gardens. I know we held one this year for first grade students in Shenandoah. We typically hold one for kindergarten students at Luray. So there's a variety of different ways that we're reaching over 2,000 youth easily.
Well, yeah, you talk about a variety of ways, lots of ways. Y'all have had some great speakers come in and talk about healthy lifestyles and staying away from drugs. You all have had got some funds, some grants where you put in water bottle filling stations in the schools, vape detectors installed. I like that, getting those out of there. But just endless amounts of programs working with these schools. Now, you mentioned why PACA. What is why PACA?
So it's our youth component of PACA. They wanted to name it Why PACA. So I would say we really began to grow some capacity in 2015, which is when I was hired as the program director. Prior to that, we had some smaller grants. We really are truly a coalition. So we are, I know that it says on our website, we have over 23 agencies with the towns, the county, parents, youth serving organizations that serve on PACA. And that is really to change the culture in the community around substance misuse and preventing childhood obesity. So our YPACA youth, we were drug-free funded 2015. There are 5 years of funding, so 2020, our second round of funding started in 2020. And ended in 2025, but with our second round, we really wanted to increase the presence in the school system, specifically when we're talking about after school and with our clubs, with our high school youth. Right. So a lot of our YPACA youth were trained, they went to CADCA leadership trainings, got to speak to our representatives on Capitol Hill around the importance of some of the policies and laws as it relates to substances. So it was just it's a wonderful opportunity to get our youth involved.
You talked about those partner agencies and the 23 listed on the website. I'm not so sure it isn't even more than that if you look at all the different ways they're involved. You guys are you're an independent group, but yet you're constantly involved and working and bouncing off other groups, whether it be working with downtown agencies here in Luray, whether it be working with the county departments, whether it be working with the schools, the sheriff's office, town police departments. What does it mean for PACA? I mean, it seems like almost you're dependent in some ways on those agencies because you're so involved with them.
We are, and I mean, truly, you want to create community change. You've got to get the whole community to buy into creating that change. Yes. And you want everybody, you know, initially when I first became program director in 2015, one of the first things we did early on as a coalition is we had a movie night. Now you see movie nights in all of the towns. You want people to take ownership and want to do that because that's what creates that community change. And so we typically don't say no to anybody because the partnerships are what make it, that's what makes it strong and makes it great.
Rather than giving the fish, you're teaching a man to fish, right? I like that, I like that. So you mentioned the community gardens, over 1,200 pounds of fresh produce grown for the community between these three gardens. I remember, was the first one in Luray or Shenandoah?
The first one was actually in Stanley.
Stanley, that's right. Well, I had a 1 in 3 chance and I blew both of them. But anyway, go ahead.
It was in Stanley and it was actually over COVID. So it happened a little bit after we had anticipated. Valley Health is another one of our phenomenal partners. They've been there from the beginning because they see the value in a healthier community. You know, when you're talking about prevention, that's where it is for everything, whether you're talking about medical or substance misuse, dental, you know, anything. Prevention is really what you want. But the first one was in Stanley, near the clinic in Stanley, and then we added the next one was in Luray.
The dialysis?
Because it's walkable, so it was walkable to a community in Stanley, plus we had like I said, Valley Health is a phenomenal partner. And then we put the one at the campus in Luray and then in Shenandoah. And the gardens, I know we talked a little bit before this. The gardens have probably been one of my biggest surprises as far as programming that we've done. That has just been amazing. It has opened up the door to so many other opportunities with the different partners that I would not have thought would have been traditional PACA partners. So they've been amazing.
Now you brought kids up to the gardens to show them, have them work in the gardens, but some of that produce going back to the schools?
So some of it goes, we use some of it with some of our porch visit programs, and some of it we've given to the hospital, we've given some to the senior centers and the clinics, and so anytime anybody is looking for it, we are giving it out. We use it, you know, our Free Market Fridays. We have one of them every Friday in the summer months, in the growing months, to really try to get more of that produce out in the community.
You are a segue master. You're old hat at these interviews because you led me right into one of my favorite programs that you guys do. Great video that was put out about this program. and I just think of the good that it's doing. Front porch visits. Tell me about front porch visits.
That was another program that came out of COVID and a partnership with the school division. I think they, at the time over COVID, Share Our Strength had reached out to them to see if they would be interested in a pilot program. And they reached out to us and we were like, sure, we'll be interested. And now we're looking at 5 years-ish later. We received additional funding to sustain it through a partnership with Valley Health and a USDA grant. So it is where you people that are in need of food, we still partner with the schools on this. They, as long as they have youth in the home, 18 and under, they receive meals on a weekly basis from the school division and our local food bank. Page One Food Bank is another phenomenal partner. We get additional food for the adults, so the schools provide the food for the youth. We get additional food for the adults and then provide them with other resources as needed. So it's a way, over COVID, what it was a way to connect to people who were isolated and needed that help. And we still, just by the nature of our community, still have people that are very isolated. We have a lot of grandparents, great-grandparents, older relatives that are raising some of their younger kids, so it's a way to kind of help to reach them and ensure, right now we're seeing an uptick in food insecurity, so it's a way to make sure that people at least have access to food.
One of the few maybe good things that came out of the COVID time, a program that's still going. The website said 60 plus families. Is that about where we're
Probably closer to 80 right now.
Okay. Wow. So even growing, like you said, food insecurity, I know has been a shift and a new focus of your group and a few other nonprofits in the area. A couple more before we take our first break. Funding, you're doing a lot. You're giving out food, you're hiring speakers at the schools, you're doing a tremendous amount of activity. Again, probably, bar none, the most active nonprofit in the county. Where is the funding coming from?
A lot of different places, some federal, some state grant funding, some foundation grant funding, donations and sponsorships, so it's a mixed bag. We were fortunate that we had the Drug-Free Communities grant funding for 10 years. However, after 10 years you can't apply anymore because the goal is that you build capacity, so you have to have other ways to sustain. So we're constantly searching for additional funding, whether it's federal, which is getting sadly harder to come by, or state and foundation grant funding. And then of course some of our events, Sunflower Festival is a fundraiser. While it's an event that we put on in partnership with the town and the Farmers Association, and I know we'll talk about it here a little bit later, it is a fundraiser for PACA. And donations, so it's a mixed bag.
Once again, master segue there, because that's exactly what we're going to go. We're going to wrap up this first segment here. I'm going to save my last question for the next segment when we talk about all the events that they do and some of the, particularly the ones that are coming up, like the Sunflower Festival. We'll get all the details when we come back in just a moment.
Whispering Pines Assisted Living is now accepting new admissions. Quality care at affordable rates, professionally trained staff, memory support, and short-term respite stays are all offered by Whispering Pines Assisted Living, powered by Valley Care Management, where home and heart meet. Call for a tour today on Leakesville Road in Luray, or learn more at valleycaremanagement.com.
And once again, welcome back, everyone, here to Ralph Dean Park, talking with Megan Gordan, Program Coordinator for PACA, the Page Alliance for Community Action, now in its 20th year, as we were talking about earlier. And as I said before, folks, one of the most active nonprofits out there. Not only are they constantly out there in the schools, but they have some big events that draw a lot of people in here that helps promote tourism. And one of those is the Sunflower Festival. Man, is that fun. Boy, I remember we saw butterflies in a tent. We saw princesses walking around dressed up, sunflowers everywhere. We got some of those. We picked some. Man, tell me what's going on. Are we ready for the big weekend? When is it, and what can we expect?
We're ready. We're hoping that the sunflowers are ready,
I saw they were sprouting.
They are sprouting, and actually I need to take some pictures today. It is Saturday, September 5th. It's always the Saturday of Labor Day weekend.
Okay.
And that's twofold. That we know we have a lot of people here that weekend, but it's also for some of our families. This event started as a way to really bring together a lot of our partners and pull in our families that maybe don't have the means to go someplace else. So it is that Saturday to provide something for families to do. That is really low cost.
Are we still going to have the dunk tank?
We are still going to have the dunk tank, and we have some local celebrities in that dunk tank, probably some of the returning ones from last year. And of course, our local sheriff's office and our police departments are going to be there. So.
All right, we'll save up our dollars here and get ready for them. And you were mentioning before, that's one of your big fundraisers, right?
It is a big fundraiser, yes, because we do see a lot of people there. The town is a phenomenal partner. There is a small fee. It's just $5 a carload, which really is not a lot. Pack everybody into your car, and that helps to offset the town's costs. And then throughout the festival, you'll see QR codes, and down at the sunflower fields, there'll be people down there. The donations that are given during the festival go to PACA to help with our programming.
Well, it is a great festival. It draws a good crowd. I think it's very enjoyable. I think I've heard nothing but compliments. And this is the
seventh. This
Seventh.
is our
That's
seventh
right.
annual.
Well, when I said fifth, I was thinking about the Float Your Boat Cardboard Regatta, which is that is in year 5. That's what I had in mind. That's the next one we're going to talk about. That's coming up in a couple weeks.
That is August 15th, Saturday, August 15th at Hawksbill Pool. And we held it there last year as a quick switch, and it's worked out well. Everybody seemed to have a great time. So we're going to partner again with the town of Stanley and Stanley PD and host it at the pool. This year, we're doing it a little bit earlier, so those who participate, thanks to the town of Stanley, can swim that day for free.
Oh, wow.
So if they participate in the boat regatta, then they get to stay there and swim at the pool.
And there's still time to sign up.
There is. You can actually, most of our registrations for the boat regatta happen the day of the event.
Oh, wow, okay.
There is still to this Saturday from 9 to 11 at Hawksbill Pool. Page Community Works for Page is going to be helping to do another Build Your Boat Day. So
Okay.
we'll have all the supplies if anybody wants to come build their own boat if they're not sure, because a lot of times when we talk about building a boat, people think it's a small boat, not a boat that you ride in.
Right, right. And well, I tell you, they give out lots of great prizes, folks. This is a fun event. Fun and sometimes funny. I'll get to that in a second. They give out prizes for team spirit, best costume, pride of the regatta, and my favorite, the Titanic.
Yes.
It's like why people go to see racing, right?
Yeah.
They go to see the wrecks, right? So the Titanic, and when it sinks, you could potentially get a prize for having the most horrific sink. So there you go. Lots of prizes for that. One more time on the date.
That is Saturday, August 15th.
Saturday, August 15th, and you can sign up on the day of. You can also go to the PACA website, as we said, Page Alliance for Community Action.org, and they can print out a registration form.
And I believe there is an online registration form on there too. That
Yep.
you link to.
There you go. Also coming up in September. Now, this is one we did a preview for, I think, last year. And, you know, was that the first one?
No, that was actually last year was our third one, I believe. The first one we held at one of our high schools. I think it might have been Page County High School. I think that was our third one. This may be our fourth.
And folks, what we're talking about is the recovery rally, the Page County Recovery Rally. Tell me about that and what's involved there.
So that is, like I said, we are a coalition, so we have many partners, and some of our partners are in the recovery community. So that is a walk. It's in September because that is Recovery Month. And at the end of September is National Recovery Day. So we've, I think last year was, this is our fourth one because we had one at PAL. Last year was our first year that we held it this way. We walk from Mechanic Street on the Greenway. So Saturday, September 19th at 6 o'clock, we'll do a silent walk to the courthouse. And that is to remember those that we've lost to addiction. And then we have a speaker at the courthouse, and then we do a very loud walk to Ruffner, and that is to honor those who are in recovery and to help reduce stigma for those that are in addiction and in recovery. And then we have some speakers at Ruffner. We'll have some music, and we have vendors at Ruffner, and then food.
And there's a lot of groups involved in that, right? It's a lot of the recovery groups.
Yeah, a lot of the recovery community in Page County is involved in this, yes.
And, you know, we'll just kind of mention some of these others, but gosh, you guys stay busy. In February, you always do the polar bear plunge. Well, we can't really call it the polar plunge, the
No,
polar bear plunge?
We can't call it the polar plunge. I think we call it, that's why we put the polar bear plunge.
Okay. And that one is always interesting, watching Donna Whitley Smith run in that water and come back out. And oh man, I can't imagine. I've been too much of a chicken, Donna, to even try it. So to all those who go out there and do that event, kudos to you. The Earth Day run that happened in April, and then the Turkey Trot is always in November.
Yep, Turkey Trot is always in November, the Saturday typically before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yep.
And then we talked about Free Market Fridays, and there's one of those coming up.
Yes, so we do one of those at each community garden in our growing season over the summer. So our next one is coming up Friday, August 14th. It'll be 9 to 12 at the Luray Garden, and we will have our garden produce along with additional produce and food items from Page One Food Bank.
So those are the two coming up. The Free Market Friday on the 14th of August, and then the 15th of August, the Float Your Boat Cardboard Regatta. And then in September, the Free Market Extravaganza.
Yes, that is Saturday, September 19th. Is that what I said it was?
Well, the 19th
September 12th.
was the recovery walk, September 19th.
September 19th, yes, it's Saturday, September 12th there's a lot going on in September because we also have the Ram Clinic coming up at the end of the month.
Oh
there.
yeah, that's right.
So that is going to be our Free Market Extravaganza. We typically have those on a Friday. This year we decided to do it on a Saturday. It again will be at the Luray Garden. We'll have more information out, but we're trying to make it kind of like a celebration of the community gardens.
And y'all help with the Ram Clinic too, which is like September 20.
It's the last weekend in September, the 26th, 27th, whatever that last weekend in September is.
Keep an eye out on Page Valley News. We'll have a notice about that under our health section. But I didn't know you guys were involved with that.
So we are. So we partner with the Free Clinic because you need like a community host group. So we're part of that community host group.
Good, that's great. And that offers free medical services, eyes and teeth and different things like that. So keep an eye out for that, folks. Getting a little windy here at Ralph Dean Park as we wrap up. I'm just going to ask you, as we close out here, we heard about a lot of programs. I mean, like I said, you guys have got to be one of the busiest nonprofits in the county. And I was wondering, is there any particular program or event that you guys do where you feel like you kind of sit back and go, wow, this is really making a difference? Like you kind of get that validation and feeling. You've been doing this now. You've been the program coordinator since 2015, so at least a decade or more, and you were involved prior to that. So out of all those years, have you seen certain things that just kind of you're like, yes, this is working. We're making progress.
It's hard because the Sunflower Festival is a phenomenal example of an event specific that brings a lot of community partners together, and you just see this is what you want it to do. You want it to grow. You want it to be a place for our families to come, and you want it, the fundraising part of it, while it should be the biggest concern, is kind of the least concern. It really is the community and everybody coming together. The recovery rally, watching that grow, has also been phenomenal.
Yes.
As far as, just thinking about changing the culture in the community and reducing stigma. So that has been another one. Nothing we do is without data. And I think for me, and as we talk, it is really seeing that drop. We measure, it's all anonymous, and we've been doing it even before 2006. We have data. But just seeing that marked regular use continue to drop in substances, especially at a time where some of them around us are going up. The big ones as we're looking at youth, it's always nicotine, alcohol, and marijuana or THC. Just to see that continued steady decline is really, it shows that what we're doing, whether it's some of our events or decreasing access, working with our partners, changing the community, it is working.
Well, that is very good to hear, because that's an ongoing battle, one that probably might not ever be completely eradicated. So keep up the good fight. We appreciate the good work that you're doing, Megan. Thank you so much for telling us about PACA today. We want all of you out there to make sure you look for these upcoming events. Come out here to Ralph Dean Park to the Sunflower Festival the Saturday of Labor Day weekend, Saturday the 5th, I believe, for their 7th annual event. The Cardboard Regatta Float Your Boat coming up in a couple of weeks on the 15th out at the Hawksbill Pool Recovery Rally. Page County Recovery Rally is September 19th in September, and I'm only hitting the big ones. Again, go to the website, check their calendar of events. We got a lot of things going on with PACA here. So make sure that you go out, and that's one thing before we end, we want to make sure to let people know how can they donate or volunteer or help this organization.
So if you go to our website, we have a donation button on our website. Our address is also on there. You can reach out. I think our contact information is on there. If you go to Facebook, we keep our Facebook's pretty updated, so message me on Facebook. You can email, you can call. It's Page Alliance for Community Action at gmail.com. The phone number is 540-742-9386. Any of those ways you can reach out and donate, whether it is time, supplies, or money. Anything is appreciated.
And you are a nonprofit 501(c) organization, so they are tax deductible, all of the donations. Well, folks, we hope you've enjoyed learning about the Page Alliance for Community Action today here at Ralph Dean Park. This has been episode 125. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Page Valley News. We want to thank Eleanor Arrington for all of her work behind the camera and in the editing room this week. And as we end each and every episode, make sure you go down to the Page County Animal Shelter and help one of our furry friends find a forever home. From Ralph Dean Park, for Megan Gordan, I'm Randy Arrington saying until next week, enjoy that Page Valley living.